Hey guys, Stormy here, and I'm back on Minecraft as you can see, and today I'm not going to be working on the spider spawners. I might mess with it a little bit, but I kind of don't think I'm going to. What I think I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking this area here, this area that I'm clearing out, and in particular, this column right here that I'm clearing out, and this column right here with the pillar in the middle, and I'm going to be bringing both of them down to lava level. So that is Y11, I believe, or head height Y11, so actually Y10, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to be bringing it down to lava level, and then once I've done that, I'm going to start working on forming these pillars. I need to get this done before I can clear out the rest of this, because I need to know what these are going to look like so I can understand how to clear out around them. Because right now, I've just been leaving a 7x7 area untouched. But yeah, I need to clear it out so that I can get an idea on how I'm going to form these so I know just how big these need to be. I think top and bottom they may end up needing to be 9x9s, but that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to get started on that. It's going to be a lot of grinding today. Alright, let's do this thing. That's another row down. You know what that is? That's the smell of progress. Looks like we're getting some use out of this thing today after all. Hello guys! I am not where you last saw me, and that's probably pretty obvious. It's actually been, almost 24 hours? Not quite that much, but it's been pretty much a day. And what you're looking at right now is my creative testing world. So, after last night, I realized I had a pretty big problem with that spider farm. I only ever got up to, I don't know, level 17. I was hoping to get up to level 30, level 35 something. Just just something so I could enchant a couple pickaxes so that I could dig a little faster. But it was taking so long that I actually had to go to bed before I was able to finish. So today I've been working all day on a new design for the spider farm, mostly using the same sort of idea I was going for. But this down here is the results of my testing. I found a different cave spider spawner in this world. It's not a double, but this is just to test stuff out and see if it's working. So I'll just give you a little demonstration. This is only hooked up to a lever. There's no timer or anything like that going on here. This is just quick and dirty, just to get things running. And well, basically it's the same concept. Lights go off up here, water streams go way down below, The spiders are all washed to a collection point, and then after they've had sufficient time, lights come back on, water streams turn on, and then after some amount of time, the spiders will start showing up here at the collection point. No matter how many designs and different iterations I went through, they still take some time getting up. The spiders just like to fight. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're coming up, but I will show you what I have here. It is significantly better than what I did have. And starting right off, it's a lot cleaner in here. One change I wanted to point out is instead of using fence gates up here, I'm using signs. They look sporadic, but they're doing their job pretty well. The fence gates, whenever the lights turned off, the fence gates here and here would both close, and that would cause the spiders to catch on them and they could get up here and stay up there. Another change I made is these here. I put these here because I'm not too certain, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure spiders can spawn in this airspace right here above the spawner. So I blocked that off. I put a block up here just to be safe. And now this should be set up perfectly just to drop spiders down. The water blade still in place. It works really well. It stops them completely from getting stuck in here. Now, another big change, or a couple big changes, it's pretty much all down in here. I switched from using pistons for the water to using dispensers in each corner, and the water pushes them to a central collection point instead of one along the back edge that pushes them up a water stream and out the top wherever. I had to change the pistons because when the pistons were extended, even though it was blocking the water from coming out, the spiders could actually get between the arms of the pistons, and I couldn't have that. I ended up going with this water in every corner design because it pushes the waters towards the center and pulls them away from the walls, which seems to be one of the biggest things with spiders. As long as you can keep them away from the walls, you can keep them from climbing. And then right here I want to point out these glass panes. And I want to say right away, yes, the spiders can spawn in these air spaces and fall right on these glass panes. Although it seems to be incredibly rare. I have only had one spider do that since I've built this. And the amount of spiders that it's stopped from climbing the walls is... it's more than 90%. It's ridiculous in comparison. I had built a viewing window into my other spawner to see what was going on and why the rates were so low. Basically, half of the spiders or more were just climbing up the walls, hitting the water blade, falling down, and dying on second impact. So I was losing more than I was gaining from the other design, and that's what inspired this. Now you might have noticed the glass on the floor. The glass actually isn't just so I can see into these streams right around here. The glass is so that normal mobs don't spawn on the floor. Apparently that was one of my problems. I was having normal mobs spawn on the floor, and then they got stuck in the collection point and the spiders couldn't even get through. So after a certain point, I wasn't getting any spiders at all. And that was due to just clogging of the system from standard mobs. They're pushed into a 3x3 hole because when it was a 1x1 they were just getting stuck. Now there is a 1x1 hole down here, but for some reason going into a stream going this way, like into the side of a block, they don't get stuck nearly as often. These are also inspired by Ethos designs. I mentioned how the original spawner I built was directly copied from Etho, and these step-ups are inspired by or taken from Etho's design. Then past this, it goes straight to a bubble vader, straight to the top of the spawner. And you can see some of the spiders did wind up making their way up here. So over time, they do make their way out. And with a sufficient timer, this all works out really pretty well. So now, this is how these water streams work. I've got 2 blocks in there. This is a 3x3. It's actually a 3x3x3 hole. I had to go down this deep so that I could get the water streams to go up without interfering with any of these blocks. I had it for a little while where I had a trapdoor here and here, and that obviously messes with water streams. So just putting it down this extra block helps out. You might not be able to... Let me grab a bucket. Normal bucket and a water bucket. Right here, I'll take both of these out too. Right here you can see all this is these 2 water sources pushing together into a water source that sits right here on this block, right in this airspace. Goes through there and around a corner. I was testing with ice, you can see that there a little bit. I don't think that actually helps move the mobs any faster. Maybe it does, but I don't think it's enough to really make a difference. But you might have also noticed when these are both in here and this one is in here, the streams merge up together. So you can see it kind of kicks up into this water source, and that helps catch a lot of the spiders and push them on their way. You can still see right here, this guy's showing it very well. They can get stuck in here. There's another guy stuck over there. That's another problem. The other system had that same problem. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. Actually, I do have one little trick. I'll show that in a second. I actually forgot to build that in. But these still have this problem. I might try some other blocks to see if there's anything else I can use here that they'll kind of just float right under and through here. Although now that I'm thinking about it, could I just have a solid block there? Let me test that real quick. Because you can see, stream still kicks up there, still connects to this one. Let me grab a spawn egg real quick. Cave spider egg. Okay. Let me just kind of simulate this real quick. Then spawn this in. And let's see if this works or if he gets stuck. It does work. Oh, in that case, that's much better. Yeah, I didn't think they could fit through that block, but if they can, I am going to swap these out. He just goes right through on his own. I think that's all of those. Let me go around real quick. Now, you can see they're getting stuck in this airspace right here. They're not going forward. I do have a little bit of a trick for this, and I showed it before. Picture right now. Let me just do that just to show it off. All you do is you have an open space right here so that this first water block rolls onto here. And then this source block actually pulls them in. It pulls them in and then onto the bubble vader. And it works fine like that. I do have fence gates here, even though I don't have them up there, because I can't have signs around here unless I have other blocks holding them up. At least as far as I know, I need other blocks holding them up. So I can't do something like this with the signs. Plus there's no redstone touching these, so they won't close. I've got the half slabs on top, so that when the spiders fall from the spawner, they still take most of the fall damage. They don't take all of it, although with this new design I could go down to the full 14 blocks, and then this one would be 12.5 blocks down. So I could go down all the way. In this design, I think I might have gone all the way down to the 14 blocks. But gonna give this another test run real quick. See if we can get some better spawns. Block that up because that lets a lot of light in. You can see I already got one in there. And if I get a good spawn here, you can see that they almost never will spawn on the outer edges and onto those glass panes on the outsides. So yeah, they usually just fall straight down into the middle, and I haven't had many issues with them falling on the panes. Like I said, only one spider ever fell onto a pane of glass, at least in my testing. I'll give it a couple more seconds, maybe a minute or two. I'll just sort of sit here a little bit and stare at it just to catch a couple of them falling, so you guys can get an idea of what it's like. See a group of 4 right there, none of them fell on the glass panes. I'll wait a little while longer and let it spawn in another group. And there you go, you can see that's plenty of spiders down there. None of them fell on the glass panes. Although one interesting thing is my other design where I was dropping them down the tube, a good portion of them jumped up onto these or hit them while they were falling and just started climbing right away. I haven't had any of these spiders. Oh, what was that? Did he just hit an air block? Whatever, that was weird. But I haven't had any of these spiders just come up and jump up like that and get onto these glass panes. Which I think is kind of weird, because I was starting to think it was just in their AI to just jump up onto blocks like that, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems like it must have been a fluke or something else was happening. You can see that guy just went in on his own. They can do that. So that's actually another benefit of this design. If you're in the kill mode, they can just walk down in there on their own and get pushed up the stream. And it does happen fairly often. So switching this back over, like you can see there's plenty in there already. Switching this back over to water mode, you see a whole bunch of them go in there. This is why it's a 3x3, so you can collect a whole bunch of them. And you will see a lot of them going through. It might not come through all too well on YouTube, but there are plenty of them going through. You can see they get stuck a little bit, but as they as they make their way through, the opening clears up and more of them can get through. But like I said, they're fighters. They really don't like going in there. With this design though, I'm thinking I'm gonna need to extend my timer that I have, because they do just take so long getting in there. But one other thing you can see is during this entire session right here that I've had, I haven't had one spider climb back up the walls and go into that water blade, which is still there, and it can still stop the spiders from going back up and causing problems. But you can also see that they all, given enough time, make their way into the water streams. That one's stuck. That one might suffocate, I'm not sure. Or no, he's just fighting. He's not stuck. I thought he was stuck, but he's moving in the other direction. Once he gives up, he'll get pushed along. It's like this guy's fighting. Oh, he just went going along, and there he goes. Still one stuck in there. But let's see the rates after that amount of time. And you can see that is vastly more spiders than I was getting. Now you can imagine this design with two separate spawners funneling into the same containment area, that's going to be a lot of spiders real quick. Now I can have it built like this in creative mode because they can't touch me. But in a survival mode you would want a design more like what I had in my other world, using the corner where you got it built up above you and you're not at risk of being hit by them. And I'll build it like that in my other world, so I'll build it like that in the other world, it's not my world, so you can see it. But yeah, I want to go into survival to see how much XP I get from this, but this might be a bad idea. I'm gonna try it. Survival. Okay, this could be a really bad idea. I could die. You can see I'm already at 24. That's just from testing this thing. Now, it's still not perfect. They're not all one hits. But you can see it is much better. You can see that shadow on the block right there. It was a deep black just from all the entities right there. But yeah, 2 levels from 24, that is so much better than my other farm. Now that I've got this design worked out, I'm gonna go back to the server, build it there. But yeah, I'll head over and build it. The next time you see me, I'll probably be using it and on my way to enchanting some picks so that I can actually go and keep digging like was the plan for this episode. Alright guys, I did it. I built it in the server. I just turned it on, so you're going to be seeing the rates of spiders as they come in. It does take a little while for them to get up here initially, but once they start coming in, they should start coming pretty fast. Some initial things that I can show off while we're waiting. I got this nice viewing window into the bubble elevator so that you can see the spiders as they come in, and it sounds like everything just switched over in there, so we might get to see a spider coming in right away. So just give it a second and hopefully something will show up. I see one just peeking through a little bit there, but they're stuck in that air block that, oh, here goes one. Yeah, that's always fun to watch. But yeah, they start showing up a whole lot quicker with this new design than with the old one. I'll show you around real quick to the wiring and we'll just let them build up a little bit. You see what I changed? Well, I showed it all off there, but I changed a couple things from the other one, and I don't think I showed off the wiring for the dispensers. All I did for the dispenser wiring is I have this little line that breaks off from the machine here that pulls the signal. Once the dispensers get the on signal, they let the water out, but then normally you have to send a second on signal for a dispenser to pull the water back up, so that's what this thing is. All this does is this detects when this turns off. So when this wire turns off, this observer sends a signal out the back, around, and into this, what is it? It's like a 1-tick pulse generator or something like that. You can see when it turned on, this sent a signal, but when this is on, it doesn't matter. But basically, once this turns off, this will detect it, send a pulse into this. This piston will go up, just give it 1 tick. This redstone wire goes up onto this block and activates that dispenser, goes over to this block and activates this dispenser, and they'll pick up the water. I don't know that this is actually necessary. I think I can just do it with a repeater. But you know, I like overcomplicating things. So there's that. Oh, I could show you inside a little bit. I do still have my viewing window, although it's in a different place now. Although you never saw the other one. But you can see the water streams are there. Half slabs on top of the fence gates, just like before. The row of glass panes all the way around. And, you know, dancing spiders for good luck. So heading back up, we will see the improved rates, and you should be able to already hear it. And let's take a look. Yeah, already got a blob of spiders up there. This thing works so much faster. Do I? No. I was using a stone sword on these guys, but I must have put it away. I actually recorded this same clip yesterday, but my mic was turned off, so I went to edit the video and realized I have to do all of this again. So that's always fun. I was already behind a day on my video, so this will just put me a little farther behind. Not that big a deal. I like this thing. Plus, I have to build the other side still, and I have to keep working on the hole over there. So not too much of a problem. Wow, they all just came in all at once. I don't think I've seen a group that big before. The one concern I have about this thing is that if I AFK too long, the spiders here are going to hit the entity cram limit. And if you don't know what that is, that's Minecraft has a rule that there can only be so many entities in a 1x1 block area. So if it hits that number, Minecraft will just start killing off some of the spiders, and if that happens, I don't get their XP. Well, let's just see how many levels I get from this. I am at 25.5 levels, so let's see what we get to after just a couple minutes of this thing sitting. Just over a full level from 25.5. So that's pretty good. Compared to the other one, that is vastly improved. Like I said, I was sitting here for so long, it just was not worth it. Like, while I was sitting here, I only ever got to level 17, and I think I started at level 7, and that was after, I don't know, like an hour of waiting. So 10 levels after an hour is not worth it. Especially at the lower levels, because I believe your levels are faster. Or they gain faster at lower levels. So to get a full level after just a couple minutes, that's a big improvement. After I add the other side in, that should be 2 levels in just a couple minutes. That'll also mean that this ugly mess is gone, finally. I'll be glad to see that go, because that thing is a mess. Yeah, that's actually another benefit of this thing. This machine is actually much bigger than the other one, but visually it takes up less space because it all goes underground. Oh, I guess I fell in there before, hence the iron bars being missing. But yeah, since it all goes underground, it's not an eyesore, or not as much of one. And it's all a whole lot more compact and pulled together. Oh boy, there's another huge mess. Yeah, I guess they all just pile up. Another half a level. But yeah, at this point, all I have to do is just get started on the other side, then start grinding out those levels that I wasn't able to get before. Hopefully get back to digging, so that I can start working on those pillars in this episode. I might not be able to get to it because I realized the video is already getting pretty long. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll be able to get to it. But if not, I would say this is time pretty well spent to get this thing working. Alright guys, well, I got the second one hooked up, and I am currently testing it. The rates do seem to be a lot better. I am certain though that it's not double, and I can immediately tell you why. Now, I've already stated how there's an air block right there, that gap. I can't really help that. I've done the best I could to alleviate that issue with the pulling spiders over and all that. The problem I have now is that in order to incorporate this other side, which I'll show you inside just in a second because I've got another viewing window, I had to incorporate another one of these underneath the channel that comes from this one and pulls the spiders in. So there's another air block. I do have one of these systems pulling the spiders over, so it's not a total loss. They will make their way over eventually, it just takes a little bit of time. So I'll show you real quick. Here's the inside of this one. I actually have the systems inverted, so I pull the signal directly from here, use a torch, flip the signal. So even though that one's in the kind of collect mode, this one is in damage mode. So I'm getting constant spiders drawn in, and you see it just switched. So now this one's in collect mode, it's pulling the spiders into the middle, and soon, or when they stop fighting, you might be able to see one right there. They get pulled along, and then to that spot that I was just talking about with the air gap, that's probably where he is right now. You can kind of see those eyes. And once they get past that, they get pulled up into the normal stream, over, and then up into the other bubble vader. So rates seem to be a lot better, and just in that period of time where I was just telling you about this, let's see how many spiders we got, because they do filter in very quickly now, and you can see there's quite a blob up here already. And the benefit of staggering the modes between the two chambers is that I do get spiders coming up constantly now, instead of just in an on-off sort of cycle. At least as long as they get past these sections. You can see there goes one. I was gonna say there was another one stuck down there. There are a couple stuck in there. I haven't checked this. It doesn't look like any are getting stuck right now, but I'm sure more will get stuck in there as time progresses, and I'm sure more will get stuck in the one that's down there too. But overall, the rates are up quite substantially, and I'm getting XP at a much better rate than I was. Although they're really getting stuck in there. It just sounded like the mode switched, so we should get more spiders here in a second. But that being said, this has all taken way longer than it should have. It's taken up a ton of time. Oh, one other thing. The really ugly drop tunnel and that bubble vader over there are gone. So it is much more open in here now. I'll work on cleaning this place up a little later. But for now, I'm gonna call it the episode there. You can see I just walk away and there's no spiders. I walk back and it's just a cluster every time. This thing is so much faster. Although you can see some of them still aren't even one-hit kills with a diamond sword. So there are problems still. It is much faster though. And I can actually use it for XP grinding now. So, all that being said, I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end, I thank you. This has been quite a process getting this to this state. But in the next episode, I promise I'll be able to do the digging and we'll get to shaping up those pillars out there. But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.